Hello and welcome back to Project Prototech. Alright, so in our last episode, we went ahead and we made this lovely set of thrusters, which you can see is currently off and on. I just noticed that I need to go in and repaint the bottom right minor thruster. Anyways. So that was the big thing that we worked on, and then we also went ahead and started putting thrusters on the inside as well. I was in the process of putting all those thrusters on the inside, and then I ran out of platinum. So I then went and, mined out about 2 large cargo containers worth of platinum, which is currently still refining. Then I ran out of gold, so I went and got another large cargo container worth of gold. The thrusters are still being built. However, what I would like to do is I would like to get this ship in a position where I don't need to have the blunderbuss hanging around off my tailpipe. I want to be able to have this be basically my one and only ship that is flying around, and then everything else comes out from the inside. So I have gone ahead and already I'm basically more or less ready to do that, except I do not have refineries on the Thanatos, and I do not have power generation on the Thanatos. Now, I do have like 50 or 100 or some obscene number of batteries, but that's always more backup power, not your primary power source. And even with all maybe like half or a third of my thrusters being built, I have found with this thing that the 2 reactors on the blunderbuss aren't quite enough to keep up. And I'm not even talking about jump drives yet, which I need just a couple of those, 2 to 20 maybe, something like that. Anyways, so I need to put a bunch of reactors on this, I need to put a bunch of refineries on this, and I would like to move my assemblers. So that's what we're going to work on today, is getting those reactors on board this ship, getting the refineries on board this ship, and then if we can get far enough, we will start taking apart the blunderbuss. We already have all of our other ships inside the Thanatos, so it's not too much more that we need to worry about there. But let's go ahead once again and start by taking a look at what I did off camera. And I still love that flight deck. Anyways, so the first thing that you will note is we are now fully sealed in across the sides. So there are no gaps or no holes that things can go flying through. It is actually airtight there, but there's some major points that it's not. If we come up here, you can see there's actually a pair of doors off the back near the thruster. And I have gone ahead and done some interior work to access that. This whole back area here is now coated in thrusters on the inside. And then as we come around, you can see we still have this big gaping entrance here, but now there's a floor. Part of the way. Yeah, we'll get to that. So let's go ahead and start out up top. So here's my bridge. And I can turn my lights off. And yeah, this is the whole bridge. I am planning on putting in a CIC that is a bit better protected than this, because, well, I've got half plate up above, so, yeah, I might want a little bit more. But we've got full visibility out the sides, out the back, and then, of course, you can do the whole Imperial Star Destroyer, walk down the middle, and look at all the peons doing their work down here. Now, I was watching another YouTuber recently by the name of Selig, I believe that's his name, and he was doing a capital ship build, and one of the things that he did that I am totally stealing is if you come on over to these stairs, and we put them in the neon colors. Actually, let me see. Which one was it? It was the neon colorable lights. And it gives this kind of little pattern, but more importantly, it puts this bright neon around basically each of the steps and around the catwalk, and I think that is just great. He's also got a bunch of other ideas, so if you're bored, by all means go watch him. He's doing some pretty interesting things. And then, we can continue that on down here. Speaking of coming down here, I went ahead and I shoved my antenna in there. Needed to do something, so, shoved some terrariums and planters in over here. Right up here is the flight control, and you can stand up on this catwalk. Ooh, I need to paint this catwalk too. Yeah. There we go. I like that. And you can just stand up here and supervise all the flight operations. And then we can go ahead and come on down over here. I went ahead and put some weldless armor to kind of guide some directionality. Right over here we have our sign and our doors to go ahead and step out for easy access in and out. The event controllers are all set up so that way if the outside door is open, the inside one is turned off, so you're slightly less likely to vent your ship. Coming back over here, I have my little pocket, cockpit situated right there. I basically have been using that before I pressurized this area, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that soon enough. Probably will stick around until I finish the CIC though. Another thing that you might note is I have gravity up and running. So far I have 3 gravity generators going at max range, and it's not quite enough. I need more up at the front. This thing is enormous. And coming in here, there are a couple gyros up here. I'm thinking about removing those, but I'll decide later. Then we can come on back here into my fully functional farm. It's 3 rings and gets about 36 plots at once, which is pretty nice. And then as I keep on coming back here, behind the farm we have maintenance. Warning, still under construction. But I'm going to go ahead and use all those storage shelves. I've got storage shelves 1, 2, and 3, which are all going to be taking place back here. As you can see, I am out of thruster components. And then, I mentioned earlier, there's these little simple airlocks for coming back here. And since I popped out here, there we go. Let's go ahead and properly paint that. There we go. Yeah. Anyways. I do not have an event controller for these doors yet, so I do need to go ahead and put that in at some point. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll deal with that later. And then I can come on around here. AI defensive, and then right over here I have my little medical room. Shove some cool things in just to make it look a little bit better. This is not going to be the primary medical room for the ship, but just kind of like the bridge medical. And then you can heal up some cryopods, and of course, then we can come on down on either side. Right now, this is basically a giant airlock. It is set to go ahead and depressurize this whole area, because past that door is not pressurized yet. Oh, that reminds me, I should paint that. There we go. Alright, and then as we come on in here, I just went ahead and set some bathrooms on the sides. Once this area is pressurized, then that would be kind of like, you can come off the flight deck and then come up, or you can go ahead and come down from the bridge to, you know, do your business. Then we have my nice, lovely flight deck passage. And coming on back here, I have extended the thruster array. So, as you can see, I am running out of components. It is not building things. But it'll get there one of these days. Maybe. I have discovered that the production script that I'm using, which is the GOAT sorter, is not very happy with me putting a separate cargo container for every single turret, because now it has to check over 100 different cargo containers to sort everything out, and then it takes forever. And when it's doing that, it's also dropping production. So I might actually need to go back in and remove all of those cargo containers, even though I really like having the cargo right next to the turret, because realistically this ship is not supposed to be seeing heavy combat. It's just supposed to be able to defend itself and make it so that way I can use it as a safe base of operations for playing with other toys. So I'm going to need to reconsider that after I take the Blunderbuss down as to whether or not I want to change things up. Moving on, you can see I have started going ahead and putting my main hangar down, and then there is this thing. So I came across an SPRT wrecked Corvette, and that is what this thing is. So I was trivially able to take out the one-act non-flaming artillery turret with the Razor, and then rather than just scrapping it, I decided to bring it back because it actually looks really cool. And I'm debating about whether or not I should do some modifications to it to go ahead and see if this could be a kind of like little light Corvette, light destroyer type of thing that I could then use for some of the weaker Factorum encounters. There is no way that this could go ahead and take on like the Factorum warship, even if I just coated in heavy armor and turrets. But, you know, doing like the supply depot or whatever, or the bio research facility, those could be possible. So that is one ship. Then let's see here. So right now the miner is just sitting right here, but with me putting this floor in, there is also now a subfloor area. If we look here, we can see that this gap is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks tall. I could go ahead and like inset in some hangar doors or something like that, and I probably will. But for smaller vehicles like my miner, or if I want to just store some small utility vehicles, I can definitely go ahead and rig this up to be able to store a bunch of vehicles, and that's what I'm planning on doing down here. Then we come back on over here to the thruster array, and for right now, I'm going to dive in here into the gyro room. There are a lot of gyros here, so this ship can actually turn, which is amazing, because for a while it could not. Yeah, check something here. The gyroscope. Let's just come on down here. Yeah, 178 gyroscopes right now. Yeah. And the current dry mass of the ship is 45 million kilograms. 45,000 tons. Yeah, I might have gone a bit overboard. Anyways, so I've got boatloads of gyros, and then there's this little gap that's going up that I can't go ahead and put more thrusters in because then they'd fry each other. But I am basically planning on going ahead and stacking jump drives all the way up here. In a bit. Then, right up back here is a nice little tucked in area. The welder wall is basically right on the other side over here. But because there's a good bit of space above it and below it, this seems like the best spot for my future CIC. So that's probably what's going to go in here. And then, I've got easy access to my flight hangars from there. So then let's go ahead and talk about power. So the Blunderbuss has 2 large reactors on it at the moment, which is barely keeping up with just what's currently built thruster-wise, so I need a bit more. So I decided that right on over here, tucked into these little corners, are perfect spots for sticking in some reactors. And what I'm going to do here is there's space for me to go ahead and put 3 large warfare reactors and still have some space to walk around. So let's get to that. And yeah, let's go with that, sci-fi, and then I can do 1. So do note that there are connectors on the back, bottom, and top for the large warfare reactor. So that one is being piped in through the bottom, this one is piped in through the top, and then this one is piped in through the bottom. There we go. And then right over here, I can go ahead and put another 3. And as you can see, there will be plenty of space to walk around them. That gets me 6 on this side, and then I will repeat that over here. There we go. Later on, I can also go ahead and, what's it called? Vent this area. Because the backsides of these are actually going to be fully airtight. Just for right now, at least, while my assemblers and my script are struggling, I'm not going to bother. Anyways, so up here, I probably have enough space for maybe like another gyro room. And we can also dive back here and see that, look, there's more warfare ion thrusters that are going to be pushing back. These are just small ones and just giving me a little bit more forwards thrust than what I would otherwise have. I've got a couple of those little things tucked away back there. Alright. So I have one assembled. And now it's going to struggle with reactor components too. Yay. Alright, let's see here. Coming up here. There we go. And that will at least get the assemblers working until the script wakes up and starts functioning again. Alrighty. The next thing that I was gonna do while I'm waiting for my reactors to build is I'm going to go ahead and find somewhere new for my production. So before I get to that, though, let's go ahead and talk about this big hangar area. So this top part, I am planning to go ahead and basically put a single block that's going to cover this. And, you know, that will still leave a bit of room for above and beyond the, the 7, 8, 9. So the door is 11 tall. And then if I put a block here, it's still going to be 12 tall. So that'll be plenty. The door is 19 wide, but I'm planning on having it come on out all the way to over here, which if we look, the door is ending basically right here on that. And then, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 additional blocks on this side.
Energy low.
Thank you. And then on this side, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So that means that if I bring a ship in that fits through the door, I can just shift off to the side and be entirely out of the way. Additionally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 46, 81 blocks from the front to where my back wall is going to be. So yeah, I probably don't really want to be trying to fit more than something like 40-ish blocks long in here, but that means that I could go ahead and fit 2 40 by 11 by 19 ships in on the side. This one is not going to be as far out of the way as that other side. And then probably a third one over here. And then just something that's smaller, like that Corvette, heck, probably even two of them, on this side, while still being able to have enough maneuvering space for everything to get out. Yeah, every time I say these things, I'm reminded of just how utterly enormous I made this ship, and I debate whether I'm having regrets or I'm giddy and happy.
Energy critical.
Thank you. Alright, let's go ahead and grab my energy. Right over here. Alright, so now let's go ahead and look at this giant gaping maw of darkness over here. So I removed all the lights that were over here, so that way I could go ahead and start filling the space in. But this is where I decided to have the manufacturing capability for this ship. So what I'm thinking about is I'm thinking about going ahead and putting the industrial refineries on the bottom here, having some assemblers in the middle, and then more industrial refineries on the top. So let's go ahead and start checking out how I would want to do that by grabbing some more steel plate, and then let's see here. So if I go ahead and put in an industrial refinery and push this as far forward as I would really want, I have space for 1, 2 rows with basically the stuff back to back, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. I do not need 24 refineries, so let's go ahead and break this up some. And let's start by putting 1 there. And then let's put a gap of 1. Yeah, that's 4. That's going to give me 8. And that is 2 blocks of space on each side. Perfect. Alright, and now let's go ahead and chop this out and replace it with the exact same thing but flipped over. That way I can be more sure of my airtightness. There we go. And then let's go ahead and cut this again.
Inventory full. Inventory full.
Okay. And then let's check that. There we go. And we will put a conveyor junction in each of those spots. There we go. Okay, everything is still properly connected. And now I want to go ahead and use pipes. One, two. And I need interior plate. All right. Here it is. There we go. All right. All right. So that gets all the refineries up and connected. Let's go ahead and I want yield modules on everything. Alrighty. So that gets me 8 refineries. And now I need to go ahead and what I will do is I will have entry and exit somewhere over here. And do I want to have the wall right here? Yeah, let's do that. Try and maximize the space for my hangar. Actually, hang on a second here. This is going to come out like this. Okay, so that is going to be where that ends. Yeah, I think I'll dedicate this space over here to be able to get between levels. And then we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 blocks above that. Let me count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 blocks above that. So that being said, I'm going to dedicate another 4 of those blocks up there to the next set of refineries. So that leaves 9 blocks, 8, 7, those layers, 6, 5, 4, 3. Yeah, I can go ahead and basically leave about 1 block height above these refineries and still have the space that I want. There we go. Alright. Now then, for lighting. If I go ahead and do one there, one there, one there. There we go. And now let's go ahead and call this something. Then
Energy low.
I want this to extend all the way down. Alright, so if I go for 15, that light all the way to the floor. Let me go grab my energy and check again. And just copy that on over. And see if after copying that around, it lights up down here how I want it to. It looks like I'm missing 1 yield module. No, there's a little dark gap over here. Yeah, let's go ahead and change the radius of that to... Nope, not respawn.
Meteor storm inbound.
Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, and now I can go find my catwalk. And let's go ahead and grab this. Yeah, we can go ahead and just slide that through on each of them. Yeah. And then I will probably come back through and do some more detailing later. I just can't think of what I really want to do right now. Apparently I'm out of construction components. There we go. Do I want any easy access on this level? I don't think so. So let's go ahead and grab my railings. And just slap some railings down here. There we go. Alright, so that will go ahead and give me all of the refineries for this level. And now let me go ahead and get my roof/floor area. Alright, that does that, and then I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. Alright, and then where am I pulling conveyor out? Ooh, actually, if I come on over here, I can go ahead and pull out that conveyor. Oh, not that one. And basically just use this to convey straight on up to the assembler levels. And then I just need to... Nope. Oh, wrong way. That's where I'm going.
Inventory full. Inventory full.
Oh. And now here, can just go ahead and use those conveyors. Okay. Now, what I'm thinking about here is I'm going to go ahead and actually put another floor down. Actually, let me go ahead and use the actual floor tiles. And I can just go ahead and use the floor center here for this little section here. And I just realized that I need to go back and change that.
Inventory full.
Alright, let's try that again, this time with the gray side not facing somewhere that it might be visible. Alright, so then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what I'm planning on doing here is I'm going to use the industrial assemblers. And I can actually basically do the same thing as what I did below. Let's see, if I did that, that'd give me 8 assemblers, full speed modules. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I want to push it all the way out? Hey, no, let's change things up a little bit.
Full.
Always got to change your mind. Alright. So, again, 1... No, not there. 2, 3, 4. And then what I'm actually going to do here
full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
is I'm going to go ahead and
Energy low.
push to there, and then I can set a conveyor down there.
Inventory full.
And then did you know, Kat, that it's really hard to see the screen when you are sitting right in front of it? Then, let's see here. If I now go ahead and grab my industrial assembler, yeah, I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. grab my yellow. Oh yes, and let's go ahead and change out of green.
Energy critical. Inventory full.
Okay. And that's going to give me 5 assemblers with full speed modules. And then I can just make mistakes. There we go. And there we go. 2, 3, 4, and 5. One, 2, 3, 4. Alright. So that will go ahead and give me 10 fully functioning or fully speed moduled assemblers. And then I can basically come up one more level. Let's see, how much space do I have here? Let me swap on back on over to this. So this is here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, that leaves me a gap of 1. There we go. And then, let's see here. For this one, oh, I've got this right over here. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and mimic the lighting position. 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright. Like it. And then I can just go ahead and finish putting things down here. And basically repeat what I did above, or with the industrial assemblers up here, but this time pipe them in from the top to start rather than the bottom. But it looks like I am out of materials again, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and finish that some other time. One, two, three, four. Yeah, and then I can just put some lights in that. Alright. Yeah, so, that is going to be where I call it this time. What am I going to do off camera? Well, I'm going to go ahead and finish up assembling all this production, do any more mining runs that I need to make sure that I don't run out of materials. Then I think I'm going to go ahead and finish putting together the shell for the primary hangar. Just that way we've got a good idea of what all the space that I have available is. And then next episode, we will come in, we'll finish up the CIC. And then I want to go ahead and put in a little bit of space. Yeah, actually, what I can do is kind of in this general area on the sides, I need to go ahead and fit in a good bit of hydrogen storage. So that way I can go ahead and pull all the hydrogen out of the blunderbuss and onto this ship. And then after that, what else does it... Oh yeah, the ship really needs some living quarters. So I've got the bridge, I'll have the CIC. I think if I go ahead and basically take some space out on maybe this side? Or maybe I go ahead and take some space out down here. I don't know. I need to figure something out, but I need to go ahead and figure out some living quarters. Rough numbers. I'm going to pretend like rather than using AI drones, I'm, supporting actual people. So we've got, say, 12 fighter pilots plus one more. Can do 1, 2, 3, call it 4 big ships with a crew of, say, 3 to 5 that we want to support on this ship. So call that 20, and then let's come on up here and see what all I've got in here. Whee. And, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. You know what? Let's just go ahead and say that this ship needs to support a crew of, say, 50. That seems like a nice big round number. And if we go ahead and we have living space for, say, the captain, we'll need to go ahead and have space set aside for, the flight squadrons. Try and keep them together. All the crew for this ship, and then space for the crew for the subships. So, yeah, captain's quarters, then first officer's quarters, 4 different crew quarters for smaller ships, And then, the 12 fighter pilots, and then a bunch of other people. Yeah. So I gotta figure out where I'm gonna shove all of that. Huh. Yeah. Alright. Well, if you watched all the way to the end and listened to all my ramblings, comment down below. Tell me what you think of this monstrosity. I'm hoping to go ahead and do, say, maybe 2 more episodes at most of finishing out the Thanatos. And after that, I want to go ahead and start filling out those other ships. I need to get those drones up and working. That's definitely an episode. I want to go ahead and get at least 1 Corvette going, or 1 small destroyer. And then I want to start hitting those Prototech, or those Factorum encounters. So, yeah. Call it probably 3 to 6 more episodes of building and testing some stuff. And then it's time to go ahead and just start hammering the Factorum. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.